Hey Star Wars fans, we just got some big updates on the Book of Boba Fett, including what seems to be a release date, a poster, and maybe even some episode titles. Let's get into it.
Join me. Together we can rule the galaxy.
I am the Senate.
So yesterday morning, Lucasfilm announced the official release date of the Book of Boba Fett, as well as giving us this awesome poster. December 29th is the official release date of the first episode of the Book of Boba, which really makes it more of a 2022 series than a 2021 series. From what I've heard on the streets around the nerdyverse, it seems as though the Hawkeye show will actually have its finale the same night, in somewhat of a stream war, if you will, between Marvel and Star Wars. Now, during the run of the Loki series and the Bad Batch, both episodes would be airing during Wednesdays and Fridays, respectively, so that they wouldn't really intertwine or conflict with each other. Although I think we may have had a confliction with Star Wars Visions recently, as well as the What If episode that had Party Thor. So now it seems that Disney and Lucasfilm are strictly sticking to that Wednesday release date, and December 29th we are going to get the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett, as well as the last episode of the Hawkeye show. It'll be interesting to see which nerdy fandom backs what more. I think Book of Boba Fett is going to be a bigger show than Hawkeye, so I imagine that the numbers for the Book of Boba Fett are going to be a little bit higher than that Hawkeye finale, but I'm sure a lot of people will tune into both, or maybe the Hawkeye finale instead. And personally, we are going to be doing the watch parties for the Book of Boba Fett, so we will be kicking it off that night with the first episode of the Book of Boba, and I'm probably going to have to skip out on the Hawkeye finale for at least an extra day. I think it's really interesting that Disney seems to be set on these Wednesday release dates. I think for most fans, in the middle of the week at 12 a.m. for Pacific Standard Time, or even 3 a.m. or later in other parts of the world, I think it's a little bit much to ask people to wake up every night in the middle of the week to watch this episode, or to, stay up super late. I really preferred when they came out on Friday and it was at least at the end of the week, and then if you didn't watch it, you could watch it over the weekend. I think that probably works a lot better for fans, but I'm sure it's all going to work out for them. It just might wreck a lot of our sleep schedules. Now, as far as the Book of Boba, we have been covering a lot of the news over here. There have been a lot of characters that have been rumored to be in this show, such as characters as, spoiler alert, potentially Cad Bane, Bosk, and many more, even characters such as Darth Vader. It seems as though the Book of Boba Fett has a lot of hype building and surrounding it going into the show this December, and personally I couldn't be more excited to get another Star Wars show, let alone it being focused and centered on the Boba Fett character that we've just seen kick some butt in The Mandalorian. In another bit of news that we got in the past couple of weeks, it seems as though we have assumingly had the leaked titles for the episodes of the Book of Boba. Now, this doesn't come from a very solid source, I will warn you guys. This comes from Giant Freaking Robot, and historically I think they haven't always been the most accurate, but I thought it would be fun to go over some of the episode titles that they have given us that we could potentially see in the Book of Boba. In this article, they talk about how the Book of Boba Fett will have 8 episodes, and their source shared that the titles of these episodes follow as Episode 1, The Champion, Episode 2, The Assassin, Episode 3, The Syndicate, Episode 4, The Battleground, Episode 5, The Homeworld, Episode 6, The Warlord, Episode 7, The Showdown, and Episode 8, The Hunter. They also go on to say that the Champion episode, although Episode 1, will be known as Chapter 17, continuing the chapters from The Mandalorian. Now, we already heard a bunch of rumors that the Book of Boba is going to be somewhat of a pseudo-Mando Season 2.5. So in a way, that makes a lot of sense, and then this show would be chapters 17 through 24 of the Mandalorian story. It would also make sense within the Book of Boba Fett title, as this would be somewhat of a chapter of Boba Fett's book, or even a chapter of the Mandoverse. Now, as far as each of the episodes' names, I think the Champion could be referring to Boba Fett as the champion of the underworld or the underground, as he's kind of taken over Jabba's place after killing Bib Fortuna. who assumingly has already taken Jabba's place. And from what we've been speculating over here at Vader's Lair, it does seem that the Book of Boba Fett will be somewhat of a hit list for Boba, and episode 2 being the assassin could easily be referring to Fennec Shand, his right-hand woman, if you will, as we've seen from The Mandalorian. Episode 3 is called The Syndicate, apparently, and from what we gather from this, it's easily possible we could get one of the crime syndicates such as the Crimson Dawn or maybe even the Pikes. With Boba Fett taking over Jabba's place, I think it's very possible we could see contenders to his power. I think the Crimson Dawn Syndicate or maybe even the Pikes would make a lot of sense if Boba Fett has seemingly taken over this powerful position. Episode 4 is apparently titled The Battleground, and we've actually had rumors that we are going to see somewhat of a big battle between a bunch of Mandalorians versus Boba Fett in the show, and it's very possible we could see this here. Or maybe it's just some other kind of fighting arena, kind of similar to what we saw in the first episode of the second season of The Mandalorian. Episode 5 has a very interesting name titled Homeworld, apparently. Now, Homeworld could reference a couple of things, as Boba Fett himself is from Kamino, but the homeworld of Mandalorians is Mandalore. In fact, to go even further, his father Jango Fett's homeworld is a moon of Mandalore called Concord Dawn. I think any one of these three places is very possible to see. I think Kamino is the most unlikely, and probably Mandalore is the most likely. Episode 6 is called The Warlord. We've had rumors that potentially could tie into this, such as the Hammerhead character that we've heard could potentially be in it, or maybe any number of other characters. Episode 7 is titled The Showdown, followed by Episode 8, The Hunter. Now honestly, Episode 7, I'm really hoping that we could see the showdown between Boba Fett and Cad Bane realized finally in live action. We've had rumors already that the Book of Boba Fett will show us some flashbacks, and I'm really hoping that we get some flashbacks to the initial duel that we never got fully realized in the Clone Wars. And then we could get an up-to-date live version where an older Boba and an older Cad Bane are fighting each other in a rematch. I think based on the episode 7 titled The Showdown, that is my most anticipated episode, and I'm really hoping that that is the case. But again, these episode titles are not set. This is somewhat of speculation and rumors. Episode 8 being The Hunter is somewhat clearly a hint to Boba Fett, as he is a bounty hunter, and he is somewhat of a hunter in general. If these episode titles are in fact true, I can't wait for the show, and I'm really hoping to see Boba's hit list in this show. I hope we get to see characters like Cad Bane, Mace Windu, and a handful of others such as Luke Skywalker, Din Djarin, and maybe even Grogu. Maybe I'm reaching there for Mace, but I think it would be really cool, and it would fit the whole Boba's hit list narrative really, really well. Let me know down in the comments how excited you are for the Book of Boba Fett this December 29th, and let me know if you think Mace Windu could be in the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out to help the channel grow and reach other people just like yourself. If you did enjoy your time in this video today, don't forget to subscribe for more awesome Star Wars content just like this. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you always.